Alright, today we started a bit later than usual. So maybe without any further introduction, let's get going with the arrangement. It's the 8 parts of production livestream, and it means that roughly I've spent already over 20 hours working on this particular track, but now I think the arrangement can take 1 or 2 more sessions. Anyways, I remember that I wanted to finish the breakdown. There was some issue maybe with the drop at the very end that I think could be a bit stronger. We were talking about the low end energy. Let me listen to the breakdown once again because I forgot a bit what did it sound like. And with new thoughts, we will keep continuing the arrangement. So far, the first part of the breakdown sounds full. And instead of having more tension or energy in this part of the breakdown, I feel like in this part there's still something lacking. Maybe it's still a bit too much of low end here. Or we need one more automation or two to make things alright in the very last part of the breakdown. But also I would like to introduce a bit this last part of the breakdown by maybe making use of something as simple as some automated white noise here, right before that, let's say, pre-drop. That's why I made a note here to add some noise. But when it comes to reversing a white noise sound and using a volume automation, I remember I already wanted to use something like that, but then what worked well was to bring back the frozen vocals. Here I have the frozen reverb that I applied on the vocals, and this is something I was already using as a sound to create a more tension before the drop. With such automation, I have a sound that builds the tension right before the second drop. What if I try to use the same trick on the last part of the breakdown, right before the second drop? It sounds cool, in my opinion, it does seem to work. So now onto the low end energy. Right now, the kick drum here is already played with a bandpass filter, so we are getting rid of some of the low end and high end. Hi Simon, what's up? And this prevents the kick drum to sound as full and powerful as after the drop, which is something I of course need to make the kick drum and to make the drop more powerful. But on top of using a bandpass filter, what about automating the volume of the kick drum further, just right before the end of the drop? We can make the kick drum a bit quieter. So once again, we will be working with some automations to create more tension in the track. So with the kick drum being gradually quieter in time, the difference in volume is not going to be high, but it's not going to be large, but maybe it will be enough. Let's check out the end of the breakdown once more. This already sounds better, so I didn't hear that volume automation well enough. Maybe I'm going to exaggerate, not exaggerate, but I'm going to make this volume automation more intense. So right before the drop, in the last part of the breakdown, we will make the kick drum much louder. And now this volume automation works well. In the beginning, the kick drum is louder by 6.5 decibels, which helps to, build some momentum right before the drop, but quickly the volume of this kick is going to drop, so to prepare us right to the second drop, and this is the moment where I would take the kick drum to sound most powerful. Okay, once more I will listen to the breakdown and make sure that the breakdown itself is fine. If everything is going to be alright, I'm going to keep arranging the track, continuing with the second main part, so continuing with the part of the track after the second drop. Alright, now the breakdown sounds great. Arranging the second drop will look in a way that we will try to extend the current beat we have here. So the current full melody of the plug synthesizer, for example. We will also keep playing the respace. But after, I don't know, either 16 or 32 bars, I already have an idea to reuse some of the breakdown elements. And in my opinion, reusing some parts of an arrangement in other parts of the track is a good way to at first make the arrangements coherent, but it's also an easy way to arrange overall. This so-called recycling, if done in moderate amounts, is not going to make the arrangement sound either lazy or just repetitive. We are going to make use of something that is already familiar, so this will help the track to flow better. And this sort of a rhythm we have in the breakdown, this is something I could use a bit later, for example, right in the end of the track. But at first, let's continue, playing this beat after the drop. Maybe let's extend it at first to, I don't know, first 16 bars. So yeah, this would be up to that moment. Hello, DJ Norman. What's up? the plug will be playing all throughout all that part. The frozen reverb will be kept quiet. Maybe so far I don't want to clutter the beat with any more sounds because there's going to be already quite a lot of things happening in the second drop. So let's keep the vocals and frozen reverb out of the way. We will also repeat this pattern with a very short silence at this moment. Of course, the percussion will follow. And here I have a very short bridge or a very small silence where the kick drum is just not playing for one beat. And I would like to emphasize this small part of an arrangement more, because in that moment, basically the only sound that is playing is the plug and respace. What could sound well is making the plug louder at this very short moment, to make it stand out for a second. Here I have an automation on utility. I mean, I have already some volume adjustment in the utility, so to keep things more organized, I will use a separate utility for that volume automation. Okay. Maybe let's do it in a way that I'm going to simply turn on this utility at this short moment, and with the gain we will tell by how many decibels this plug will have to be louder, just for a short second. Yes, and the plug sound when it pops at a very short while like that, it makes things a bit more interesting. It reminds of something we can hear in trance techno when we are playing the kick drum with the full percussion, and suddenly when there is a breakdown, when the kick drum is not playing, then immediately the percussion is getting much louder when the kick drum is not playing. So I'm creating something similar at this moment here. Reverse the reverb at that moment might sound good. I would like to use the reverse reverb at some point later throughout the arrangement, so I will use it to introduce a different section of the track or a different beat. But yes, we will be using the reversed or just frozen vocals more. Now I will listen to that first part of the track after the second drop, and let me think of how I could automate or modulate the kick drum. Maybe I could use more low pass or high pass filters somewhere else. That's my personal preference. I like to play around with kick drum patterns or with automations. And right in the end of that part, we will try to do something interesting as well as in that part here. So far, from kick drum automations, We have a bandpass filter. That of course takes away the energy from the kick drum, so I would like not to use it in the main part of the track. I see there's also some equalization on the punch part of it. Let me remember, what does it sound like? I see. So far, out of all of these automations here, nothing changes the kick drum drastically. I could try to look through the whole kick drum sound to find any parameters that I could automate to change the kick drum sound, to transform it. But I remember I've been already doing that in one of previous live streams. If that doesn't work, maybe let's add more distortion on the kick drum, and we can later turn on and off this extra distortion on the kick drum from time to time to enhance the arrangement by creating a different variation of the same kick. So let's try something that is definitely... Oh yeah, I thought about trying something that is going to definitely change the kick drum, but I can already just see what each distortion plugin has to offer. Of course, we will not play them all at once, because that could be the last live stream ever. And let's begin with trying out the amp. And in the beginning of our distortion effects chain, I will also try to use again a high-pass filter with large resonance. And now let me experiment for a second to find out some still interesting kick sound. Of course, this kick drum, after using more distortion, is going to be more noisy and crunchy, but that's okay. This kick drum will be used rarely. This is not the main kick sound. The amp sounds very promising with these settings. What about the saturator? Yeah, I will stick to using the amp as well as the high-pass filter with lots of resonance. Let me now adjust these two effects, and the deal will be following that. Sometimes I'm going to simply automate the on and off switch for that whole group, and then we are going to have a second different kick sound. This is an easy way to make the arrangement also more interesting. It could remind, for example, a bit of hardstyle music where you have, yes, bass lines made out of kick drums, so the kick drum is playing with different pitch depending on the pattern. I will also add a respace so I can imagine better what everything is going to sound like together. And let's make this kick drum quieter at the output. Now it's definitely too loud. So now we could hear how much of an influence does a high-pass filter have on the kick drum if we pair it along with the distortion. We have been already using that before when making the whole kick sound. Along the way, while there are a few people on the chat, please let me know if the stream is a bit is too quiet or loud enough, because in recent times there were comments saying that the volume of the stream is a bit too low, but I did some fixes and I would like to make sure that everything is fine. And meanwhile, I will be adjusting now the amp itself. Using the rock distortion style, so the volume here is not going to change the sound of the kick drum. That's fine. We keep the output to dual to not convert our kick drum to mono. There's already some utility used here to control the output of the kick. I'm going to use now the output to make this kick drum after extra distortion more or less equally loud. That sounds about right. Let me rename this effect track. That's extra distortion. As I have said, now I can automate this as well to enhance the whole arrangement of the kick drum to create more interesting kick drum patterns. Let me try something with these automations. It's going to work something like that. To emphasize this distorted kick drum more, I'm going to make it a bit louder. Not by this many decibels louder, sorry. On top of using a extra distortion and filtering like that, what else we can try is to play this kick drum itself more repetitively in the MIDI pattern. That is, if this is going to make the kick sound any different. Okay. And let me see, there is something that doesn't let the kick drum to play in the pattern as I want to. Yes, that's exactly this, right, this thing right here. Punch volume automation. Maybe I will name it differently. I also want to turn this off here. Something like that. And let's see how is that going to sound like. It could be now just a bit overboard, but now I'm just trying things out and experimenting. It could sound better if these higher frequencies were cut off a bit. Maybe let's try a low pass filter. And yes, this now starts to sound good. We can repeat a similar pattern just once more throughout the next 16 bars, and then we could introduce a different section of the track. So here we could maybe use just a bit more of the kick drum variations. So I could play this kick drum here just like that. Okay, let's leave the kick pattern just like that for a second. Now I'm including back the percussion. Let the percussion right now play without any changes. The black also has to keep playing. along the way, I think that in the next 16 bars here, something just a bit more should be added, so I'm not sure yet what this thing could be. I just remembered that I had some MIDI pattern in the stab sound. Let me see what is happening there. Maybe I'm going to reuse this part of the stab MIDI clip somehow. Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult. What about if I try to change the melody? No, it still sounds bad. We will also keep playing the respace. I think maybe I will try to use some of the pad sounds here. But let me think at first of what it could sound like. Yes, let me try to stuff in that part of the track some of the pad elements we had there. Maybe not the whole pad, because still the whole pad is supposed to be playing before the breakdown. Maybe I will try to use this part of a pad with a delay effect. This sounds good, though this delay fades away a bit too early. This was not an issue before when the track was playing before the breakdown. But now, in this part, when I have this single element of a pad playing, I would like to make it longer and more present in the whole track. So, what I can try to do is, well, to either add a limiter or a glue compressor. Maybe because it is again a sound that has some transients. I would like to not make the sound very flat. Let me try using quickly a glue compressor to see how it would sound like if I make this sound here flat. Yeah, the glue compressor here sounds cool. I will quickly compare that to using a limiter. But yeah, as I was expecting, the limiter is going to remove any attack or transient from the clap sound here. So it would be pointless to use that one. So let's stick to using the glue compressor. And let's adjust the attack and release and everything else. I will also rename that so I know what I'm automating later. And now I feel like with the attack and release, yes, and ratio set like that, now let's tell the amount of actual compression and glue added. Should it be just as much as the glue compressor allows me to? Let's see. Okay, just a bit less of that. Extra glue compression. We can hear that that part of the delay that sounds more like a delayed clap already seems a bit longer, but slightly less compression would be enough for this kind of a sound. Okay, and this would be it. Now I can use that extra glue compressor just to enhance this clap sound here. So let's make another automation like that. Is there anything else that could be added here in that part of a track before I introduce another section of the track? Let me think. No, I don't think so. Because what else I could add? I could again try to even add only some pad elements that I've said I don't want to use. We will also keep the vocals aside. So we will play a bit more with the kick drum patterns in just that 16 parts long part of the second drop. And I think this will be already enough to, yes, make the arrangement more interesting. Now when I listen to the second drop once more, I realized that it's already quite a lot of happenings there, so there is no need to switch things up every second as if it was some breakcore music. So I will just be a bit more creative with the kick drum patterns here. Here I will add one more kick drum like that. And I need to also automate the extra distortion. Alright. Also, to make reviewing the arrangement is a bit easier, I made on purpose the MIDI clips with that extra distorted kick drum. I gave them a different color. It's easier to see how the kick drum pattern looks like throughout the arrangement. And here I would like this kick drum to be distorted kick drum to be played all throughout the whole length of that part, the arrangement, but maybe we will also engage a low pass filter that gradually rolls off more and more mids out of the kick drum. And then it seems like I need to use a separate low pass filter because the one that is currently used before the amp effect is not going to roll off the mid frequencies in the way that I want. A better way to describe what does the low pass filter do here is, aside from just cutting a bit some of the low and highs, using a low pass filter there also is going to change the sound of the distortion a bit. So a more definite way to get rid of the high end it's just a separate high pass filter, a low pass filter. Let me just check what kind of a low pass filter I should use, with what steep. We will make use of that more aggressive. Let's also see if using more resonance will pay off. Maybe not that much. Or maybe we will not use any resonance at all. Okay, show automation. Extra distortion, low pass filter, and onto automating that filter. As I've said, I want to gradually roll off the mid and high end out of the distorted kick drum before we introduce another section of the track. So to still hear just a bit of the kick drum at the very end of that part, I'm not turning down the cutoff frequency of that low pass filter down to 20 or 0 Hz, because then the kick drum would get lost quite quickly. But now with this filter modulation like that, even at the very end, we can hear the kick. It sounds alright. So in the next part of the track, we will be turning off that extra distortion rack. And as I've said, I wanted in that part of the arrangement, let's call it breakdown recycle, so we know what this part of the track is about. I will try to reuse some of the things I've been making use of in the breakdown. So definitely the plug sound we had there before any automations that made this sound fuller. This is something I can use here. Just like that. What else I can use from the breakdown? A respace sound with that just a bit more complex bass line. So let's also use that. So I'm not sure what about this lead sound, this purple one. Maybe I'm not going to use it in this part of the track, because I would like from that moment from the things to get a bit more calm. From this part of a track, I would like the energy of the track to start to drop gradually, because maybe right after another 16 or 32 bars, I will arrange an outro for the track. So we have to start to dial down the amount of energy. But let's try to use the pads there. And yes, I already do remember that copying and pasting, copying the pad sound here is difficult, because there are lots of different automations that I also have to copy. Okay, but I do feel like that with the pad sounds now playing, the bass line should be more simple. So let me reuse something I had here in the beginning. Along the pad sound, what about the vocals? Should I also use the vocals? Let me see. Okay, before I try to add any vocals to see if they will fit that latter part of the arrangement, let me add the kick drum. But maybe with a bit more normal pattern without any weird things. What is happening here? The bandpass filter is on, I have to take it down. There's something more happening to the kick drum. For some reason, it starts to it's being a bit quieter. So moment, why is that happening? Here, there's some automation on the utility. That I forgot to take away. And arranging the track now is, yeah, again, becoming more difficult because I have so many different automations, and also the screen I currently have is zoomed in quite a lot, so it's difficult to get a grasp of all of the automations at once. In that way, I can keep playing the same part of the track and subtracting or taking out one element after another. So I could repeat this part of a track with a kick drum, playing just like that. I could as well maybe remove the cymbal from the percussion. Or maybe not. What about the hi-hats? Definitely not. Maybe the pad should be playing further. Again, problems with copying everything. And yeah, even this quite immediate or aggressive, yes, removal of the percussion, the moment where the percussion suddenly stops playing, this right now also doesn't sound bad. I can keep the things like that, a thing like that. So here, I would like to make a very short bridge or just some transition to, again, make the track feel smoother between this spot and that one. What could I try here? Oh, yeah, vocals. Maybe some that frozen vocal could come in handy. So let me see how it could sound like. Not here, but Okay. Maybe if the frozen vocal plays like that, it's going to sound bad. But if I try to make the frozen reverb to play for a longer period of time, it's pretty okay. So the vocals should start to disappear from that moment and be played quiet in the outro if I want to use the vocals like that. And yes, the vocals should be here longer. And then in the outro, let's see. I could play this sound once more. So let's copy this simple pattern here. It sounds a bit too boring. If it is boring, instead of that, let's keep playing the pad, but maybe the pad will have now a high pass filter added on the whole group. And I think I can use, yes, a separate high pass filter for that. I can turn the cutoff frequency very high to just fill. I just want to fill the silence in the outro itself. I don't need this pad sound to be also very audible or maybe present. So that's why leaving even a narrow range of frequencies, of higher frequencies here, is going to sound okay. Just like that. Now this high pass filter, we have to turn it on in the outro. No, it's a wrong automation. Here I have it. And then when the track gets more and more calm, this high pass filter can be automated. remove everything from the pad. I can push it even higher. Let's try even more. Alright, from that moment the pad should not be audible at all, so that's why I can remove this pad from here along with the automations just to make it everything look a bit cleaner. And what we have in the end is the vocal, is the frozen vocals here, that is the frozen reverb. It seems like I have to duplicate. And the vocals will just disappear with a simple volume fade out. That would be for me the end of the whole track. So the rough sketch of the second part of the track. From what do I see? How many bars do we already have there? 96 bars. Oh, that's quite a lot. 2 minutes and 35 minutes for the second part of the track with an outro. Okay, and this would be the whole draft. Since we have made a draft version of the second part of the track, let's play the whole thing now to fill out what is missing, what should be maybe added or changed. Generally, now when I want to check what does the arrangement sound like, it's a good advice to, for example, not look at the arrangement view when you are listening to the arrangement, because you want to listen to it and not look at it. If you focus on something different while listening to the breakdown or to the whole arrangement, you will also have a different perspective or maybe a different insight than if you just keep playing the arrangement while looking at all of the automations and MIDI clips that take place. Let's actually play this track from the breakdown as well. From now on, the vocals will be just disappearing in volume, so there is nothing that interesting to listen to. But okay, if you were to, yes, improve the arrangement here, what would you change or do? That's the question for you. I already have 3 suggestions or 3 things I would like to do. Starting out with something simpler, that is making the kick drum completely quiet in the beginning of the outro. Because even if the kick drum stops to play at the outro, there is still some remaining part of the rumble being played, and I want in the outro no mid or no low frequencies. For me, that's the first thing. The second one is that this part of an arrangement where I have a bit more complex drum pattern, here something is off, especially in the end when the distorted kick drum, the kick drum with extra distortion, has a low pass filter added. Here the things seem to sound most weird. But something more important is the part of the track where I do play both pads along with the vocals. This is exactly that part of an arrangement. I don't think playing both pad and vocals is going to sound good here. That is because these two sounds occupy a similar frequency range. And yeah, I've been afraid of that earlier, but now I can hear that better. These two sounds will be difficult to not only just mix, but they simply don't fit each other. But what if I use only the part of the pad here that has a bit crusher turned on? Yeah, so now how I should cut it? I should make a cut here. And then remove everything from the middle, from in between. Yes, I would like this part of the pad only to be audible in that moment. So we remove everything up to the outro, and now I want to only copy the audio clips. And now there will not be any problems with these two sounds being played together. Because I'm playing only the part of the pad with the bit crusher turned on. And when the bit crusher is adding the crunch and high frequencies to the pad, this pad sounds way different from the vocals, so I can play these both sounds with no problems. Let's take another look at the here breakdown cycle part, where I've been talking that something about the rhythm is off. I can't exactly pinpoint what is wrong. No, yes, sorry, I'm talking about this part. I already placed a marker that describes the problem. Yes, I can't say precisely what is wrong with that part of the arrangement. Let's listen to that again. Let's feel what should be fixed. Maybe the kick drum pattern is a bit too complicated. That could be also the case. Okay, now I do remember, I felt like the rhythm, and this lead sound was different from what we had earlier. Yeah, if I look at it, it seems like I indeed pasted that wrong. That should fix it. From minor things, the volume of the vocals fade away a bit too early, so let's bend this automation curve here. Maybe slightly less than that. Okay. So after all of these 3 fixes, we can check out the whole second part of the track again. And if everything is going to be alright, then it's either we will finish the stream in full today, or I will start creating the intro as well as the first part of the track. Let's see. Starting from the very drop. Yes, the whole arrangement comes to its end. Here we will have just the end of the whole track. Out of curiosity, right now, it seems like we have 3.5 minutes of an arrangement. Okay, so both the intro and the main part should give extra 2.5 minutes, which will make this track a bit long. The only thing I don't like yet is the moment here, where the frozen reverb from the vocals pops to the beat, and this part of an arrangement maybe doesn't feel that special, or there should be something enhanced here. But maybe simply turning on the bandpass filter for a second here could be useful. I could as well use a high pass filter, but maybe it would be too generic. Also, yes, I would prefer to reuse something I already created in the track. There's already a lot of different automations in the whole project. And this also sounds fun. Okay, I think this could be actually everything for today. Usually the streams on Sundays are longer a bit, but today I've been working on releasing the preset pack. It took almost a whole night between the Saturday and Sunday, and because of that I don't feel like working on this track more. Throughout this week in between, before the next stream, I might fine-tune all of the details in the arrangement of the second half of the track. So in the next session, maybe we could arrange the whole intro and the first part of the track, as then the track is ready for a full mixdown. But since I've been already doing most of the equalization and compression work, I hope that working on the whole mixdown of the track is not going to take that long either. And then track gets mastered and it would be ready to be published. That is, I don't know if I would decide to release this as an EP or as a single track. If there was a need to make an EP, we would have to wait for a few more months until I produce the next tracks. So yeah, I guess we will finish for today. Let's listen to everything once more, and in meanwhile, I will be waiting for any questions in the chat. If nothing will appear, then for me today's stream will be finished. Alright, I think I don't see any new messages or questions on the chat, so could actually finish for today. Yes, I arranged the second drop, the second part of the track along with the outro, a bit faster than I initially planned, and that's okay. As I've said, it can mean that in the next Sunday we will also arrange the intro and the first part of the track, and this will mean that the whole track will be arranged. Solchicula says, I always have the most trouble on transitions. Yes, transitions between different sections of the track is always a bit of pain in the butt. Personally, my advice to make these transitions sounds better is to keep trying to use different automations throughout the whole arrangement. Automations are key to a smooth transition. For example, there is here a transition between the breakdown to the drop. There is going to be a single volume automation on the kick drum. So that's the first automation. The second thing is that I'm using on the kick drum here a bandpass filter. And then after the drop, the whole kick drum is playing with low and high frequencies. That makes the second automation. Some hi-hats, no, hi-hats are not playing, sir. What else is automated? Here we are automating the volume of the frozen reverb channel, so frozen vocals. This helps to build tension before the drop. That would make the third automation. And the plug sound, that is the main element of the track. Here I am automating two different synthesizer parameters. That makes already 5 different automations used in total. There's also a few automations on the respace channel. A respace gets quieter here, and a high-pass filter is used at the very end of the drop. That makes 7 automations in total, but without them, yes, this drop would not feel that smooth and good. So my advice is to use, yes, automations, and they don't have to be complex. Literally, it is possible to arrange a whole track using only automations on the volume of the sounds, the low pass or a high pass filter, and maybe the panning. But also the panning is something that is used rare when automating. So even we could make this simpler and say that there is completely okay to arrange it. It is completely possible to arrange a track, especially if it has to have a simpler structure. So your normal hard techno track with screeches and etc. It is, in my opinion, possible to make an okay arrangement with automating only volume levels and high or low pass filter. But here the track I'm making is more atmospheric, so I also, because I'm also like to try some original things, I'm automating from time to time some synthesizer parameters, or as you have seen in the kick drum, I'm also adding or removing extra distortion, so the whole kick drum also gets more interesting, like here. So things like that is something I just add on top of these basic automations, that is the volume and the filters. That would be everything for today. So once again, thank you for watching the stream, and hopefully let's see each other in the next Sunday.